Consistency in rallies and points is the backbone of table tennis. If you're struggling to keep the ball on the table or find yourself missing easy shots, then don't worry, you're not alone. The good thing is, with a few key adjustments, you can transform your game and become rock solid in rallies. So here are my 3 most important tips to help you find consistency. The first thing to do is, when you're struggling with consistency, is to focus on playing high percentage shots. Shots with lower risk. This will help you reduce the chances of you making an error. For example, trying to aim for the edges can be great if it works, but if it doesn't, you're very likely to miss off the end of the table. If you aim your shots more central and not too deep on the table, you're less likely to miss the table. So that's what I would recommend in regards to high percentage placement. But if you want even more consistency in your game overall, then play shots you're more comfortable with. For example, most people find that they can be more consistent doing an active backhand block as opposed to a full-on topspin. The idea is to try and play shots that you're more comfortable with. These are the little things that you can do to make it more likely that you're going to get the ball back on the table. The second thing I want to discuss is prioritizing spin over power. Power can be really tempting to use to try and end the point prematurely or a little bit early, but spin is what keeps you in the rally. I find that when I'm struggling to keep the ball on the table for whatever reason, I like to focus on producing a little bit more spin, because when you produce more spin, there's more arc on the ball, and that gives you more control of the ball's trajectory when you're playing. Flat hits are generally riskier and more likely to sail long or go into the net. Another thing that I like to do when I'm struggling with consistency, or I'm feeling the pressure and just not able to get the balls back on the table, is I look at my grip. Am I holding the racket too tight? Am I being a little bit too jerky with my shots? I try and hold the racket in a relaxed way where I still have control of the racket, but I'm not holding it with too much tension where I restrict my movement. Holding the racket with a little bit more tension is natural when you feel the stress and the pressure of a tense game, but if you actively find yourself holding the racket too tightly, try and loosen up. The last thing I want to discuss is having a stable stance and smooth movement. Without good footwork, good balance, good recovery, even the best technique can break down. So basically, I like to bend my knees, keep my weight a little bit forward, stay on the balls of my feet, and I like to watch the opponent's racket and their ball carefully, and this stance helps me react and stay balanced when I'm playing my shots. And don't forget that after you play your shot, don't just sit there and admire your shot and do a big follow through like, oh wow, what a backhand I've just played. As soon as you play your shot, try and get back into the neutral position where you can go to backhand or forehand. So play and then bring your racket back, and then play and racket back, and then play and then racket back. You don't want to start dropping your racket below the table during a rally after you've just played a shot. I like to think that as soon as I've contacted the ball from my initial shot, the shot that I'm currently playing, then I focus on the next shot by recovering and being ready for it. So by focusing on safe, strategic placements, having the right shot selection, using spin for control, and maintaining stable footwork and stance, you can maximize your consistency. So yeah, if this video, these tips helped you, then I'd really appreciate a subscribe, and more importantly, I'd like to know what you think in the comments. I'll see you tomorrow.